So today is a really interesting day to me. We're going to be focusing on the Torah portion. We're starting all over again. At Simchas Torah, which we had on Saturday, we go back to the beginning. And during services, Rachel commented that there are several places in the Jewish calendar where we can think of the new year starting. Rosh Hashanah. She mentioned Tisha B'Av, the New Year of the Trees, and Pesach. But for me, Chaya is saying no. But that's what Rachel said.
No, Tisha B'Av is the commemoration of the falling of the temple. You mean?
Oh, so I have the wrong holiday name.
Tu B'Shvat.
Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat, Tisha B'Av. Tu B'Shvat. Thank you. I appreciate that. I did have them messed up. But for me, there's another new year. And that is when we start the Torah cycle again. I find it kind of thrilling. And I do engage in some Torah study. And each year, it's amazing to me how I get something different. I get something new. I get something I need that particular time. So it's great. So it's a new cycle, a new beginning. As I was looking at Breshit, our first parsha, several themes jumped out to me in just the first two chapters. So I'm going to mention 4 different themes that jumped out at me. One is new beginnings and the endings that need to happen in order for there to be a beginning. So we ended the Torah and then started the Torah all over again. So that's that cycle. But we have lots of endings and beginnings daily. First of all, we have night, which ends the day, and then the day that starts the next day. We have many activities during the course of the day that end so that we can start something else. We have the adage of when a door closes, a window opens. So it's new possibilities, new beginnings. And of course, there's the breath. The exhale is the end of a breathing cycle, and then we have an inhale. So I just thought that was interesting. Another thing that really fascinated me was the way the word chaos came up in the first line of this parsha. So I used the women's commentary, and I'm going to read you the first couple of lines from Breshit. When God was about to create heaven and earth, the earth was a chaos, unformed, and on chaotic waters' face there was darkness. Then God's Spirit glided over the face of the waters, and God said, "Let there be light." So this year, that line hit me very differently than it has in the past. The word chaos just sort of jumped off the page. We're living with a lot of chaos. And I found that whole notion that we have chaos in our lives all the time. And then there's this comforting piece of creating light, of shedding light on the chaos. So, I started realizing that when I feel really stressed, I could kind of align that with chaos. And the things that I do to help myself when I'm feeling stressed and manage that sense of chaos um, is the way I shed light and create light. So for me, it involves meditation, it involves exercise, and it involves, um, my gratitude practice. Sometimes it really involves really good dark chocolate, but those are the ways that I create light. So I encourage you all to think about how you create light for yourself when you're in the midst of chaos. And then there was the power of words. That became another theme. So in the beginning of Breshit, words are absolutely central. God speaks and things happen. So again, using the language from the women's commentary, God said, "Let there be light. Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters. Let there be lights in the expanse of the sky. Let the waters bring forth swarms of living creatures, and let the birds fly over the earth." And on and on and on. There was a lot of creation, and all of creation happened through words. So God speaks, and the words set things in motion. So, you know, when I was thinking about the importance of words, I began thinking of mindful speech. And I started thinking about how careful am I with my words? Do I use words to comfort? Do I use words to demean? And when I'm giving instruction, do I do it with an edge in my voice and some impatience? Or do I do it with real gentleness and compassion? So there are 4 questions that I'm aware of that are really worth asking before speaking, and I try to do this. I don't always. Is it kind? Is it honest? Is it necessary? And is this the right time? Because sometimes it can be kind and honest and necessary and really not the right time and place. So, so I offer that. And then the last theme that I wanted to talk about today is the theme of breath. So in Genesis 2:7, again, the women's commentary, it says, where to go? Then God fashioned the man, dust from the soil, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, so that the man became a living being. So when we sit today, and we'll be doing that momentarily, I want to encourage you to think about that inhale being God's breath into you, and maybe your exhale as being your breath into God, however you think of God. I mean, God could be a being on a throne in the heavens. God could be the tree that's outside your window. God could be the air and energy that's around and in you. God could be whatever you conjure. So the word God is not a word to get hung up on, as far as I'm concerned. But the whole notion of our relationship with this divinity, of that we can breathe into it and it can breathe into us, that we are breathed, if you will, creates a really reciprocal relationship. And I think that that's kind of worth sitting with, worth imagining, if you choose to. The imagery you choose to use is entirely yours if you choose to play this game with me. And if not, that's also absolutely perfectly fine. So let's sit now. I invite you to take your seat, really get yourself comfortable. Feel your feet on the floor, your bottom well on the chair. And I invite you to take a nice deep breath as fully as you can. And exhale slowly and completely. And again, inhaling and exhaling. And once more, your own pace. And I certainly shared quite a few themes. And I invite you to use any of them as an anchor for yourself or not. And whatever your anchor is, remembering to gently come back to it each time your mind wanders. And it will wander. That's what minds do. As we gently and slowly come back to the room, I will share this short poem from Mary Oliver entitled Praying. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be the weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention, then patch a few words together and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but the doorway into thanks and a silence in which another voice may speak.